So I'm not surprised by this. I think the solution is just don't go on the internet anymore. As I've gotten older, I've identified my friends who are the happiest, and they are people who are not on the internet much.
Wow.
Hello and welcome to the Abroad in Japan podcast. Probably the best way of learning about life in Japan without actually being in Japan. I'm your host, Chris Broader. We're joined as always by England's top Japan enthusiast, Mr. Pete Dawson. Pete, how the devil are you doing? What's going on?
I'm good. I am staring out of my window in the garden in the Essex environs, and I can see one thing and one thing only. A Wendy house. I've spent the weekend building a Wendy house for my daughter out of scrap wood, and it's taken a turn. It looks like a shanty town, Chris. It looks like an old man's allotment that he's made out of old shed doors.
Call me Mr. Health and Safety, but I'm not sure I'd want to go in a house that you had constructed.
Hey, have some respect. I've got some of the very best nail gun technology and screw technology known to humanity, but admittedly, yes, there are a few exposed bits.
Daddy, what's this nail? Yeah.
Daddy, what's this nail? Yeah. Hopefully, she's up to date with her hepatitis and
oh my God,
and tetanus and stuff like that. So I'm just looking at that, and it's. I wish I'd never started it, and it's just basically a box you can sit in. So yeah, kids love boxes, don't they? Kids love boxes.
You should just put a box in the sitting room, and that would have been better than you building this tyrannical shit show.
I completely agree. I've done everything apart from I've used all of the scrap wood in my life. I am completely woodless, and just got to put the roof on now. And I don't think the roof is going to be very good. I think the roof is going to be bad roof.
Oh God!
Oh dear! Never mind.
Well, it's rainy season here. I got a message from both
the roof.
I need a bigger roof. I need the
roof.
Both the Lost Bar team and the JJ Esim team, right? Both must be like, Chris, oh my God, numbers are low. There's less people in the bar. What's going on? I'm like, have you not looked out the bloody window? It's Suyu. It's rainy season. For all of June, it basically rains and it doesn't stop. And no tourists come to Japan. Like, the number of tourists massively drops off a cliff. It's a good time to come here, though. Like, I remember I did a video last year about tourist traps in Japan, and I went to Kyoto, and it was the first time Kyoto has been, like, actually pleasant in a long time. So,
right, yeah.
June in Japan. Admittedly, the rain is a little bit annoying. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. But you can get Kyoto all to yourself, and Kyoto is really nice in the rain. It kind of, like, darkens the woodwork. You've got the water gushing down the roofs. It's amazing. I love Japan in the rain. And Tokyo at night in the rain. Looks very Blade Runner-esque.
Do the hotels get any cheaper in rainy season? Presumably there'll be some slight... Do they? Right.
Yeah,
okay,
they do actually. Yeah, they do. Because demand goes down, right? Simple as that. It's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that.
It's like, as a photographer, this is the time. If I was going to come one time to Japan, it'll be this month in rainy season. So bear that in mind. It basically runs through, I think, the first half of June or most of June. So, and then it's very hot and sunny for July, August, September. So bear that in mind.
Hasn't it been historically get a lot drier than it usually is, Japan, over the last couple of years?
No.
So you imagine... No. No, just as rainy. Yeah, just as rainy as it's always been.
It's got a lot bloody hotter in recent years. Like, it's... the weather's always like a flame roast fucking rotisserie experience now. But what are you going to do? That's global warming.
What are you going to
do?
What's going on?
Stop putting your aircon on. Stop wasting energy, Pete. Save the environment. Shut up and save the environment.
Radioactive soil that we talk about.
Have some radioactive soil, yeah. That's a point. Couldn't they use the radioactive soil to find a way of making energy? No. Isn't that what China just did, actually? Thorium reactors. China just this new kind of thorium reactor. That there was an incredible, like, nuclear technology that was it's going to be like the new big thing, like the 50s and 60s, and then America stopped funding it and sort of gave up with it, and China's actually proceeded with it now, and it's safer, cheaper, and it's better than most nuclear reactors. Really interesting. Chinese thorium reactor.
I'm a member. I don't know why, because I don't actually own any.
Of the Chinese Thorium Reactor Club.
Do you know that uranium glass used to get around the turn of the 20th century?
No, I do not. What's that?
No, around like the early
Can you drink
1900s.
out
It was
there?
like
Uranium
it's
glass?
like everything's got radiation in it and stuff. But this special kind of glass, I don't really know how it's made, but I think uranium is involved. But yeah, uranium glass, where it's it's basically it sort of glows in the dark a little bit. It's got this kind of ethereal, ghostly kind of image to it. So it gives off a sort of like weird energy, and I really want some, but I imagine it's probably prohibitively expensive. But could you not make the radioactive soil into some lovely radioactive glass for Peter to have?
I mean, this is something to pitch to the Fukushima government, clearly.
Yeah, exactly.
With their 500 million... What is it? How many soil was it? Do you remember last week, the numbers?
It's quite a lot. It was a lot. It was a large
500 million
amount of soil.
cubic feet of topsoil that was removed. That's the amount. If he could turn that into glass... Give it to Pete Dawson, he can sell it at his gift shop, radioactive glass.
Yes, please.
There's got to be a better way than last week we had a news story where the Japanese government are going to use it in flower beds in the soil of the Prime Minister's house in Tokyo. And
Yes.
fun little story that. Check it out in the last one. But we dive headfirst into a story from Phil this week, who begins. Hello, gentlemen. I'm an Australian who's lived in Japan for under 3 years now. I had recently had an experience on a train where an apparently intoxicated man was acting aggressively towards a boy who looked around 12 years old. Using my limited Japanese, I asked the boy if he was okay, and he responded with a very nervous, "Daijoubu, it's okay." It didn't feel right, so I positioned myself between the man and the boy, at which point the man walked away. However, as the boy and I coincidentally departed at the same station, the man approached the next set of doors and made a move as if to exit the train, while staring angrily at the boy. What the fuck is this? Seeing this, I stepped towards the man and said, "He's just a kid, leave him alone." Thankfully, being confronted by a 100-kilogram, relatively athletic, bearded and tattooed foreigner seemed to be enough to make the man take a step back. But I wonder what would have happened if he had made a move that warranted physical intervention. My concern is that, as a foreigner, I could be seen to be in the wrong. Have you had any insight into or experience of the potential outcomes of restraining somebody in this situation? Given that I'll be extending my visa in a few months, I don't want to jeopardise that, but I also don't want to stand by when somebody feels unsafe or threatened. As I boarded the train the next morning, the same boy was there with his mother, who insisted on giving me handfuls of candy and profusely thanking me. I told him not to hesitate to ask for help if he feels unsafe on a train, although it appeared as if most of the other passengers were either so engrossed in their books or so tired they didn't notice the interaction. Do you think it was a case of people being unaware or not wanting to get involved in something outside of their control? Many thanks, Phil. Well, I don't understand. What happened with the guy was drunk. Intoxicated man acting aggressively towards a boy. I feel like there's a bit of the story missing there, right? Other than maybe just a drunk idiot.
I want to get off with Phil. I have never been so excited, aroused about any of the emails we've received on the Bronze Man podcast. What a superhero! Absolutely stepping in and threatening to punch a drunken... Oh, Phil.
What a great man.
Mate, he makes my heart sore. Good old Phil. Sorting everything out. But it is something to think about, I suppose. If you've got a long-term visa or any kind of visa, I think, and your life, you want to continue living in Japan, there is parts, like certainly there's a very good reason for insurance purposes as well why Westerners don't get involved in fights in like China and places like that, because it's just not worth it. It's horrible to hear, but it's just not worth the situation. But in Japan, I imagine there's probably certain aspects that are a little bit similar. You just hope that there's some goodwill in the heart of most of the Japanese to basically tell the police or tell someone some authorities that how things have gone down, because there's so many times that especially with the rep that foreigners have got at the moment, and certainly like YouTubers and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about this situation a few times. Not that I've seen anything quite like this, but I've always thought, how comfortable would I feel about this? I think it depends on the situation. I mean, I remember when I was a teacher, I had one of my favourite teachers, a lady I worked with, she had a student acting quite aggressive towards her that really worried me. He was getting really up in her face. She was quite small, and he was sort of taller than her and a bit threatening. He would have been 18 years old or something. And I was sort of just stood there edging my way closer in between the two, and she was like, "It's okay, Chris Sensei, just go back to the staff room." And I was like, "I don't think I should go to the staff room. I want to make sure." And it was fine, but I felt quite. I didn't know what I should have done in that situation. On the JET program, they tell you in such altercations never to get involved because they just say don't get involved in those sort of situations. But obviously, if he'd physically done something to her, he was very close to her. If he'd actually physically done something, I would have grabbed him and restrained him or pushed him back or whatever. But yeah, something I thought about. But I guess it's a case by case situation. I think if you had stepped in this situation, Phil, I think you would have been all right, providing you didn't cause any physical harm to the drunk dickhead being, quite threatening. So I don't know.
Good on you, Phil, for sorting things out and getting involved.
There's an Australian man who rides the trains defending the public against drunk bellends.
Oh, but he's got good forearms, Phil. Oh, God, I'm horny for Phil.
Oh, dear. Well, we've got a story this week involving... Maybe the whole story was fake. Maybe it was all a lie.
Yes.
Because lots of people are falling for lies recently. Because that's our news story this week. What's going on, Pete?
Yes,
very
one. Much like most nanas. 48% of online viewers in Japan believe false rumours and fake information. The Japanese government recently released the results of its first ever survey on public awareness of misinformation. According to the survey conducted by the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications, or MIAC, about half of the respondents believed at least one of 15 false claims they saw or heard on social media. With fake news, misleading data and out of context comments spreading so easily online, the government says it's becoming a serious issue and wants to boost efforts to improve media literacy. 47.7% people said they'd been misled by at least one piece of false information. Mass beachings of sardines, which is an interesting story to be interested in, or whales signalling an impending earthquake. The sort of kind of self-reporting of the stories that these Japanese people are believing, mainly fish and sea-based mammal.
Whales
they're quite gullible.
Earthquake.
Yeah, apparently there's been a news story sort of like kicking around about whales being able to tell when earthquakes are happening. And that they're the ones that the aquatic-based sort of fake news stories the Japanese cannot get enough of. Not, AI kind of deep fakes of politicians getting up to this and that, migrants on the border. They're very much concerned about whales and sardines, which is very enjoyable. But yeah, I mean, 1 in 4 people who came across this kind of misinformation ended up sharing it either by talking to family and friends or posting it online. They shared it because it was surprising, and more than 20% thought it was interesting or useful to others. So it's just important to have your wits about you. It's good that the Japanese government are trying to get hold of it. Whether it'll be successful or not, I just do not know, because, as they say, a lie will go around the world twice before the truth gets its trousers on or something.
There is a lot of ultra right wing shit on Twitter that goes around. Like, I remember seeing a news story about it was a Chinese man did something bad in Nara or something, but it was actually a Japanese man. But
a sardine.
It was much more befitting of the political narrative to make it a Chinese man and share it around. And there was that thing a month ago, 2 months ago now, when I was on the cyclothon, and somebody made a video reacting to Connor and I talking about things we didn't like in Japan or things we thought were odd. And it got picked up by all sorts of dodgy individuals and shared around and made it look like these two foreigners in Japan hate Japan and they're spreading misinformation and lies, and it all got weirdly misconstrued, to the point that I was just like, I don't like doing this anymore. It's one of the reasons I haven't made videos in a while. I was having a bit of a I was like, I don't know why I like doing this anymore. But it's just a few bell ends on Twitter a lot of the time.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that, Chris. Yeah, I'm sure everyone gets it somewhere.
It's like I was talking, a cat hair was in my mouth.
Okay. So, well, you will insist on licking the back of your cat to clean it.
Don't get cats. But yeah, it was a thing. And so you see this a lot online. Not just a Japan problem, but so is the issue they're going to do something about this or not?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just. I think they are. They'll probably sort of go, "That's interesting," and then really not do anything about it. But I think it's a really difficult problem. I think every government's kind of struggling with it. I suppose most, is it Romania? The Romanian elections that be sort of redone because of Russian interference and propaganda and stuff. Like it's if you are a smart despotic leader or just absolute reprobate grifter.
Great.
These kind of fake
It's a great time.
These kind of fake stories. It's a great time, isn't it? It's absolute boom. It's an absolute boom for despots
There's never
and
been a
Romans.
better time to be a
There's never been
totalitarian
a better
leader.
time.
Fucking brilliant, isn't it? Well, if I was a totalitarian leader, it'd be well easy these days.
The age of the deepfake, the AI thing. I think mentioned Tommy Robinson very briefly last week, but there was he's just come out of prison and somehow I imagine it probably wasn't the highest security prison in the world, but he's come out with a full head of hair and a big beard, as if he's been in like Rikers or I don't know somewhere. But he posted a picture that really made me laugh, where it was just basically a picture. He reposted an AI picture of Jesus behind him in prison. And Tommy Robinson sort of leaning over, and Jesus is behind him, and it looked like he was bombing him. It was just so, and that's what I like about AI gone wrong, and that's what I like about it. There is a bit of a blind spot for people sometimes. They go, "Oh, what a romantic image of Jesus coming to me in prison, and putting his hand on my shoulder," but like Tommy, that doesn't look like Jesus is bombing you in prison.
Seen loads of AI videos where like Jesus is talking and like, "Well, my child," and like it'll be like an AI child holding a teddy bear. And it'd be like, "Jesus, why do people have to die?" And then Jesus is like, "Well, my child, let me tell you a story." And he like tells a story, and it's like AI Jesus, and it's the most bizarre thing.
Well, imagine how affecting that must be for like an older generation of very religious, devoutly religious people. I mean, it must look absolutely magical because it's amalgam of everything we've ever seen. Like AI, by its very nature, looks like a fucking dream. So imagine seeing Jesus in such majesty and in so many different situations. There must be so much more Jesus stuff out there for people who are into that sort of thing.
If you like
I love
Jesus.
it.
It's an exciting time.
It is an exciting time.
But the misinformation's out of control. I mean, on Facebook, we talked about this previously on Facebook, which is just the worst thing ever. If you scroll down like the homepage on Facebook, there's like dozens of fake kind of photos of Japan from all these pages called like Japan Daily or Japan Seeking Japan, or it's really all fake photos, many fake comments. But then lots of real people who are like, "Wow, this place looks amazing. I'll have to go to Magical Cat Street," and it doesn't exist. It's not a real place. And so I'm not surprised by this. I think the solution is just don't go on the internet anymore. As I've gotten older, I've identified my friends who are the happiest, and they are people who are not on the internet much. And I think that is the direction I'm going to be heading in the next 2 to 3 years.
I'm going to just sort of like start doing a lot more woodwork because I've become very talented at it.
It's not off to a great start, is it?
Building it now, it's not ideal.
Got to start somewhere, though. Building your daughter a dodgy treehouse. We'll be back in the moment, guys. The stories, comments, and questions in the fax machine.
Wow.
And we're back with the fax machine. What do we got this week from our listeners, Mr. Dawson? Fill us in. What's going on?
Fill us in, with some wood filler. Hello to Andy from Victoria in Canada. Hi, Chris and Pete. I'm heading to Japan in a few months. I'm wondering if single-room Airbnbs are a thing there. I'm trying to save some money, so renting entire places are too much, but I want to step up from a hostel. If not, is there any other type of accommodation you would recommend? Thank you. Your podcast convinced me to visit. Wow, that's something we did not expect. Andy from Victoria in Canada. Any sort of I did have a little look at like single occupancy Airbnbs, and there are a few kicking around, so it's worth having a dig around. There's one that's in Asakusa. Asakusa. Is that right? Asakusa, yeah. A guy called a super host called Tetsuya has got a 90-year-old Japanese house it's very sort of broken English kind of description, but it says, this is a 90 years old Japanese house where has Wabi-Sabi. All the designs on the wooden doors or windows were built by a temple carpenter. Dialogue with historic house will bring you emotional time. The area wasn't burned in World War II, so where is torturous with other old houses. The walking around will give you the history atmosphere. So if you would like the history atmosphere, there is a place that is pretty available. £34 a night. Definite step up from a kind of shared use kind of Airbnb. And it's Wabi-Sabi, baby. It's Wabi-Sabi.
Wabi-Sabi, baby. Single use. Sounds like a vape or something. Single use. Single room. Just get a capsule
a proud
hotel.
Mary room.
Single room capsule hotel. I've gone off Airbnbs ever since I've had some terrible ones. There's some good ones, like Charlotte's one, which is nice, and there's some thought go into it, but a bit of a mixed bag, isn't it? Bit of a mixed bag.
A little bit. I mean, we stayed at a nice one in, where was that? Not Netto, that's not a place.
Netto?
Netto? Yeah, it was Netto. It was a shop that used to exist in the 90s, Netto.
Oh.
Nico.
Nico, right, yeah. Oh, right, with you,
Nico.
Yeah, you and I, yeah. That was
you do
good.
A fancy at the
that
end.
Was good.
The whole place smelled of kerosene. It was delicious.
It was good, apart from the man, of course, who slept in the house with us. That wasn't so good. That was like one thing that put me off Airbnb. I've had some shit Airbnbs. I stayed in one in Bath with Charlotte 4 years ago, and we got locked inside it. It was an attic apartment, and the door was locked even though we were inside it. We couldn't open the door. And I messaged the guy, I was like, we're locked in the apartment. And the guy was like, it happens sometimes. I'll have to come and open the door for you. And I'm like, when can you get here? And he's like, I'm in Bristol, which is an hour away. And I'm like, are you
it happens sometimes.
If there's a fire, we're just dead. And luckily...
Did you climb out the window?
Well, in the end, his neighbour... he messaged his neighbour, and this poor lady had to come out up the stairs, and she opened the door for us on the outside. I was at this point, I was just like, fuck this. I'm not doing Airbnb in the UK again. And a good friend of mine, one of the editors on Abroad Japan, he had his family come over to the UK. His Japanese family from his wife's side of the family came over. Airbnb wasn't cleaned, dirty towels and shit all over the floor. It was awful, and it just sort of like ruined part of his holiday and the experience of his Japanese fam. And so, yeah, Airbnb in the UK, I don't know if I'd do it, but in Japan, it's all right.
It's annoying. I mean, I'm upset because Airbnb are going to be stopping doing Facebook login, which is the only way I ever logged into my Facebook, into my Airbnb site. But I'm just annoyed because I literally have like 50, 60 Airbnb reviews, absolutely spotless, great guest reviews, every last one of them, every one better than the last. I am the best Airbnb man. And if Airbnb goes away, what am I? What am I? I'm an animal.
An animal, physical object.
Just a man, yeah.
Nothing. Hi guys, says Mark. I grew up playing the staple family board games like Dominoes, Monopoly and Snap. Are these popular in Japan? Do they have equivalent games for families? Do families have internal grudges as they play them? Thank you for all that you do, Mark. It's a very interesting question, actually. I don't know. They do have some board games, but Monopoly isn't really a thing. Connect 4 seems to be everywhere. Every time I go in a bar in Japan, there's Connect 4 and Jenga. So that's all you need, isn't it?
The little crocodile game where you got to press the teeth down. That's big. And also
Pop-Up Crocodile, it's called. Pop-Up Pirate, yeah.
Yeah, and Pop-Up Pirate as well. There is a Pop-Up Pirate that has... Well, Pop-Up Pirate seems to be such a big thing in bars in Japan. There's even like a special like Japanese edition only with Pikachu as a pirate. Of course there is. And there's also a bigger barreled version where there's 4 pirates in. We saw it in the house in Nikko. And I've never seen it again. It's a Japanese only product, I believe.
I think Pop-Up Pirate transcends cultures, languages, humanity. What can't be solved with Pop-Up Pirate?
I would very much like to see a realistic Pop-Up Pirate where a normal sized pirate is just stabbed and blood comes out the bottom and he screams for his family. Please, I have children.
Pop-Up. There you go. Though those are the 4 things. Jenga Connect 4 pop-up pirate,
Yeah.
the crocodile one. Literally everywhere.
Pop-up sea criminal. Pop-up sea criminal. That's what I want to see. A kitchen sink version of pop-up pirate.
Oh,
Lovely.
man. I'd love to play some pop-up pirate right now. But for now, that's the end of the Abroad Japan podcast. Keep the stories, questions, comments coming in to abroadjapanpodcast@gmail.com. More in the comments below. But for now, guys, have yourself a great few days. Play some pop-up pirate. Play some Connect 4. And we'll see you right back here to do it all over again on the Abroad Japan podcast. Bye for now.
Farewell.